What is going on? Welcome back to Canadian Dividend. So today I want to go over my portfolio and how it's been doing, things that I want to change, and everything else. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So $18,423 is my actual position right now, and all time it is down $101. So I think in reality, ever since I created it on May. What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Virgin Galactic, ticker is SPCE. I want to go over some of the recent data points, some of the latest updates, one of which is their earnings that they just announced, their Q2 earnings. So I want to go over some expectations of that as well. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So starting off, it did go down 1.79% on Friday. A lot of volatility though. So you can see the high being 398, low being 376, and a little bit lower for volume, but that's kind of normal for a Friday. So I'm going to start off by going over some of the data points and then transitioning into some of its recent updates. So starting off with options activity. So based on Friday, there was $787,000 in calls being purchased versus $611,000 in puts. And overall, based on all of the options activity, it is roughly around 56% bullish. But still, it does look like there is a little bit more of a push up over the last several days of puts, insinuating that people are anticipating that it is going to go down. And I think it's kind of matching with the technicals as well, because the technicals, it is staying in the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. And as well, it did fail to recently get past that 50-day moving average. And in Virgin Galactic's case, that 50-day moving average is a very big deal. But moving back over to the options activity, if you are bullish, looking at the calls, so this is the grid, shows all the strike prices, expiry dates, it is anticipated to go between the 4 to 450 in the next couple of weeks based on this. But when it comes down to options activity, whether it be this or just this, it is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. And when it comes down to big money, they have not been getting in, so not really taking advantage of these kind of deals or discounted prices per se. So the last transaction being on the secondary market over $100,000 was July the 17th, and based on the bid and the ask, it was a sell. So again, take that how you see fit. When it comes to this though, I like to point out the momentum indicator shows number of retail investors have been getting in, so of course that's a fairly good sign. So they are seeing some discounted value or some value in Virgin, especially leading into their second commercial flight fairly soon. But over and above that, looking at stochastic, it is currently at 30. There is oddly a nice bullish sentiment starting to form behind the scenes, even though it did pull down a little bit. So there's that kind of aspect to that. And then finally, looking at some of the fib levels right here. So with it being $3.83, it is currently trading between this S1 and the pivot, which in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks isn't necessarily the best, unfortunately, but $3.43 is a very big support that you need to watch for, and $4.48 vice versa is the next big resistance. So let me know you guys' thoughts on all of that. I do feel that, especially unless there's something substantial coming out in the next couple of weeks from a broader standpoint from the economy, I do feel that there is going to be a little bit more of a FOMO aspect to Virgin, especially leading up to their second flight. But I could be wrong. Let me know you guys' thoughts as well. I'm not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. But moving on from that though, as far as additional updates, so at the time of doing this video, there hasn't been really any SEC filings. As far as press releases, there's been a couple, one of which is a lawsuit. It looks like that they're trying to start to build a class action, it looks like, based on the disclaimer that they used. So I guess in July 2021, it had certain terms, but since then it has fallen 88%. And it looks like they just recently announced another S3, so another issuance, a shelf offering. And I guess the actual, from a risk management strategy standpoint, it's not really protecting people that have margined positions in Virgin Galactic. So again, there's that. This is kind of normal stuff in reality. It might result in a small payout potentially, but still in the grand scheme of things, this is kind of normal on any stock that has basically kind of the chart that similar looks like Virgin, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. When it comes to it as well, though, on the 18th, they did announce a Q2 earnings as far as the date. So it looks like it's going to be on August 1st on a Tuesday after hours, so around 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. Pacific. And so I wanted to give you a good overview of what to expect from that. So based on when it comes down to earnings, there's several things people care about. There's future guidance, so that's obviously what they anticipate to come from the future. There's earnings per share and also revenue. And of course, I don't think there's going to be any necessary revenue in Q2. Since Q2 did conclude at the end of June, and there's been no flights, nothing along those lines in that time period. So I don't really anticipate anything in that regard unless there's something surprising. But it says under earnings per share, currently based on that, there is 11 analysts with a consensus of negative 51 cents. And as you can tell, 4 weeks ago, it was negative 52 cents. So one analyst was a little bit more optimistic recently on Virgin, so they kind of lowered their earnings per share, but still negative 51 cents is pretty high if you want to consider it that way. And then revenue, like I said, there's not really anything in that regard. Oddly enough, when it comes down to the Q2 though, it was and is estimated to be 2.52 million in revenue. I don't know where that is coming from or generated from, so let me know you guys' thoughts on where that is. I guess based on the Q1 earnings, there was 1.16 million in revenue. So maybe there is some sort of revenue that I'm not really aware of. So let me know you guys' thoughts on that in the comments below. But there is currently 10 analysts giving estimates on the Q2 revenue. Previously, it was 9, so it went from 264 being the consensus to 252. So they kind of lowered it a little bit, but that was done within the last 3 months. So when it comes down to it, as you can even see looking on the chart right here, this is what you want to aim for when you are an investor: constant revenue growth. And this is based on all analysts, so it could be wrong. It's obviously up to the company to do what they can, but this is estimates. So let me know you guys' thoughts on all of that in the comments below. What's your viewpoint on their Q2 earnings? Are you optimistic about it? Do you think that there's going to be some good things on it, or do you think it's just going to be poor? So what's your viewpoint? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing I just want to share with you: even though Virgin has been going up, down, sideways, take advantage of free promos, and that is this. So it's free to open up an account with Moomoo. Also, it does offer free level 2 trading and $0 commission. But if you throw $100 at the account, you get 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Plus, you do get a $50 cash reward. So this is a no-brainer. Link in the description below and also the comments. With that said, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's eventually make a lot of money on Virgin Galactic.